Introducing Inside Retail with Marty Higgins. Insider news and engaging conversations with cannabis leaders, brought to you by Urbana and highly capitalized network, navigating the cannabis retail landscape with innovative strategies and customer-centric solutions. Join Marty Higgins as he brings you insider stories and cannabis retail market trends. This is Inside Retail with Marty Higgins.
Hi, this is Mark Collins for Highly Capitalized Network. I'm here with Tim Blake, the founder of the Emerald Cup, and also joined by Marty Higgins, who's working with his company Urbana, supporting the Emerald Cup. Tim, so great to see you. It's the 20th anniversary of the Emerald Cup, Tim, and what a great accomplishment you and your team have managed to put together. Once again, we have an outstanding lineup of some of the best companies, best people, and the best brands in the industry, and also a lot of friends of mine too. So nice to talk to you, Tim. Tim, could you tell us what your goal is with this year's Emerald Cup 20th anniversary? Tell us about what your vision is for this year's Cup.
Well, it's very interesting because we got into legalization. We were one, thank you for inviting me too. I'm really honored to be here.
Thank you.
We were one public conversation away from being able to move to Long Beach and the Queen Mary back in 2017. And so we were going to pivot and take all of our brands and our audience down there. And then COVID hit. And so it's been a bouncing around for all of us through legalization and COVID these years. We really wanted to get down into the Bay Area, and we had the opportunity to go to the Kaiser this year. And we're very, very excited about that. There's a rich history in Oakland, Harborside and Oaksterdam, and there's just so many things, Phil Stevenson, that's happened in Oakland. It's amazing to see. And so we're really excited to go in there with the community and plant that flag and hopefully end up taking over Lake Merritt in the next couple of years and doing a South by Southwest cannabis event there.
Oh, wonderful. It really does feel like you come the full circle. I know you've been moving from looking at different events, different venues, but now with Keith Strupp coming back to Oakland, it really feels like you're coming back to your homeland. And Keith, oh my God, he's like the founder of Normal. He was out there before cannabis was fashionable. He was supported by the, Hugh Hefner. What an incredible lineup you have. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Keith.
You know what? We were trying to figure out the Lifetime Achievement Award got changed to the Willie Nelson Award a few years ago because Willie accepted, but only if we would change the award. So, of course, we did. We do anything for Willie. But following that with Tommy Chong and Woody, it's really hard to keep that bar up there with these types of superstars. And some of the superstars aren't like movie stars. They're people like Keith, who, he's 80 years old. He spent 50 years, founding and creating Normal. It's our 20th anniversary. We love Normal, Dale and the rest of the crew. So having Keith come here felt perfect because who else were we going to, follow that with except for a titan of the industry, somebody like Keith who'd done 50 years. So
wow.
It's really a perfect setting for Keith to come back, and Oakland and Normal and everything else. It's really wonderful.
It's really feels full circle. And tell us, you've seen everything, you've been through so much yourself, and you've seen the evolution of the industry, Tim. Where do you think we are now, and where do you think we're going? And I'm going to ask that question to Marty too, because you're seeing things from a brand point of view, and I've seen a lot of brands just vanishing over the years, and it must be heartbreaking for you, Tim, because I know, unlike other events, you put your whole heart and soul into supporting both the community that attends your event, plus the brands and the retailers and so on, that the people in the business side that attend your event. It must be heartbreaking to see such a leveling off of the industry. What do you think about this reduction in the amount of brands in the industry?
I'm 67. I started in the industry when I was 14, so I've been in there almost 54 years. And so I have the unique perspective to be able to see it, what the Emerald Cup, where it all started, where there weren't any brands. It was just personal flower and personal use, to when all the brands started coming up under 215 and semi-legalization through medical in the 2010 to 2016 range, and then legalization. So I've watched every aspect of it. I sponsored the sheriff's debates at Area 101 back in 2006 to get Tom Allman elected. My family are cops and lawyers. I've always expressed that legalization was the way to go. I still believe that. I think we're in the infancy of that. I think that if you look at it, and I'm trying to temper that with positivity, with objectivity. If you look at our industry and you look at it like the wine industry, the tech industry, the spirits, video, anything that rolled out over the last 100 years, the people that started those industries were all titans and worth 10 to 50 or hundreds of millions of dollars. And if you look at the cannabis industry, name one business or OG person that's worth a dime at this point. Really, I mean, functionally worth a dime. And when you look at that, that's startling when you think, okay, there were 500 big companies and people, and not one of them ever made the big bucks or got there. I mean, when Ed Schultz came in from REI, who took over Harborside, he said if he would have known what 280E was, he would have said that there's not a company in traditional business that could make a dime off that. Wow. When you take 280E and you take the rest of the taxes and regulations they've stifled us with, it's an impossibility for any company other than but build brand value. And of course, brand value was 20 to 1, and now it's back to 1 to 2 to 1. So even the brand value for cookies and Harborside and everybody really plummeted. So I think this was I think this was a systematic destruction. I think that they saw us and they realized they fought us for 50 years and they couldn't beat us. So they decided they were going to destroy us more in 6 years of legalization than they ever had previously. Wow. And I think that's 280E. But I tell people that the other side of that is that by crushing California, you had people go out all over the country. You've got Leo Stone aficionado in Michigan. You got Melissa Moore teaching classes in Niagara Falls, and you got people all over the country. So our culture, kind of like with the Dalai Lama, they said to the Dalai Lama, "Isn't it terrible that the Chinese came in and wiped you out and pushed you out of Tibet?" And he said, "It is on one side, but the other side, it pushed us into the world, and we're 10 times bigger. Wow, Buddhism is 10 times
beautiful. What a beautiful.
Was it bad or was it good?" And so in a way, our culture has gone all over the country and the world, and we're just starting to blow up. They're going to reschedule or deschedule, probably reschedule. They're going to get rid of 280E. And now all the companies like Marty that are still survived and held on are going to be able to see that change. I had one big company that told me the difference between them making money or not with 280E was they would lose $20 million with 280E. And if they got rid of it, they'd make $20 million. Wow. This is a big company. Wow. That's the type of change that will come. I didn't mean to be long-winded. I'll give Marty a chance there, but I'm very excited for the future. We're in the very beginning of the ball game. And really, other than the fact that they crushed the legacy OG people that created this, and that wasn't right, the future is going to be very bright with the rescheduling effort that's going on.
Wow, that's beautiful, Tim. What a positive, hopeful message you have about the germination and pollination of the industry from California. Marty, that's you really are, as Tim said, quite an accomplishment just surviving in the market. But I'm so pleased to know that you're thriving. And as a former CFO over in your neighbor's Grupo Flor, we always admired your efficiencies of your operation, your management of your debt position, your management of your people. But really, what's inspiring is that you're now talking about selling experiences in cannabis, not just selling weed. And I'm reading a lot of articles about how the younger folk are gravitating towards non-alcoholic social experiences. So there's a bit of a leading question, but is that how you're seeing the industry? Like Tim is seeing this, very difficult birthing that we've experienced and that whole evolution that has knocked out so many of our friends. But, you're heading into consumption lounges. Are you seeing that as being a distinction? Or how are you looking at the future?
First, I just wanted to say, Tim, it was great to hear your perspective on this. It couldn't agree more with those bigger picture statements. And for those of us that have been in the trenches in California and finding ways to not only survive, but to thrive and to grow, like we are finding that seam. And I think that seam for us started nearly 10 years ago, which was rooted in our hospitality background, was to go into consumption lounges. And my feeling was always to sell the experience, make it memorable, whether it was a great guest experience, great service, high quality products, but then add that element of experience, which Emerald Cup is known for. I mean, it was the first event I went to, literally career, life-changing, going to that event and meeting all of the community, and integrating into, the great industry of California cannabis. And I think that we're headed back into that way. I think we've been in the trough. I think we have some things that are, the winds that are back with the rescheduling or potentially the descheduling. But you touched on that makes the difference of profitability. And I think that one of the things that we look at as the future, and Mark, as you point out, the trends are changing. 10 years ago, when I opened up and had cannabis events, they were short and sweet. People asked where the bar was. And I would point to the cannabis bar where we were serving, bongs and dabs and such. And they were really looking for alcohol to soothe themselves through an evening. And now that younger generation, is the statistics quote, are largely in favor of a non-alcohol evening, but other evenings that may incorporate cannabis. And that's exactly what we've been building for the last 10 years. And those experiences that keep people coming back, keep people thinking about the brands that hosted and provided the great products, or the experience in and of itself, to come back and experience that again. And this is what we're bringing to Oakland. We're really excited to be here. This is my hometown. Tim, I can't wait to have, and it makes me very happy to hear that there's some longer term plans for Emerald Cup in Oakland. We're excited to bring a new perspective and a new paradigm on retail and on-site consumption, with a host of events from guided meditation to comedy and musical events, but a real place for the community to gather. If there's small congregations and want to come and meet, we've got a meeting lounge that's smaller and private. We've got a larger lounge for entertainment venue. We think it's going to be a hub. We're located right in the heart of Uptown. It's the old Lucas Tavern, which was famous for their burgers, and the fries were my favorite. But everybody knows where Lucas is, and that's my new thing, that, hey, Lucas is reopening as of Buona. And so we're really excited about not only our future, but we hope the future for the Bay Area, Oakland specifically, and California cannabis. And I know that a lot of my colleagues feel the same way. It's certainly been some tough sledding for a bit now, but we're optimistic on some legislative changes and just overall changes in the marketplace. And that specifically is the rise of consumption lounges and where they're headed, that they're not an add-on or an afterthought or an isolated small smoke room or smoke den, but they're a place that we want to go and experience education, enjoyment, and a sense of community.
Oh, wow. I love that connection, because every time I think about Tim and think about what he says and I see him in the press, it's all about community for Tim too. And I really believe that both of you talking about community actually means something that's very meaningful. We'll be joined together this weekend with all our friends, but it's not just vibing together with our friends. I just wanted to echo what Tim was saying, that for our audiences, that it's at the Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts in the heart of Oakland. It's this August 17 and 18. You still have time to get tickets at theemeraldcup.com. I recommend it. I go to every event. I would go to the opening of a box of Kellogg's cornflakes if it had something to do with cannabis. And this is the event that we cannot miss as a community. So this August 17 and 18, Oakland, California, supported by Marty and his wonderful vision of consumption lounges, bringing community together. Tim, can I just ask you, please, sir, where could people find out more about you beyond theemeraldcup.com, www.theemeraldcup.com? Look at the chirons here.
Well, they can find me on Instagram at Blake_Bendicino, and on Facebook and on LinkedIn also for me. I'd like to to add to what Marty's saying, I think it's consumption lounges are critical. It's interesting that now you're seeing vineyards are going to be closing up because the younger generation aren't drinking wine. And so they're having a whole new revolution in the alcohol industry, what's going on. And the younger kids want to go out and do cannabis. They want to do some other plant medicines and psychedelics. They're into meditation. They want to learn and do things. And so we're going to have like a kind of a rebirth of the 60s of what we were really going for in terms of stimulation that kind of got lost through the 80s and 90s and whatnot into here. We all got driven, but people are going back for that, for community, for culture. They really want to get that. It's been devoid. People have gotten out of the video games. You don't see real connection with people anymore. You see people staying at home and not even moving out, not getting married. We have to change that and bring people back together. And one of these ways are these lounges. I've been saying forever that the cannabis lounges, we had one at Area 101. The Emerald Cup is a big cannabis lounge, and when you bring culture together and you get people a nice place to be, they get inspired. They come together and they break bread, they form businesses, they create. And it's just a very positive, expression. And we need it. We need as many of those as we can. And what you're doing there is beautiful. And I really hope to support you immensely over the coming years in Oakland, for sure.
That's wonderful, Tim. And that's such a wonderful high note to end on. Your desire to bring people together through places like Marty's space, which is his new Oakland flagship store on the site of Luca's. The best burgers, as just to echo what he said. I can't believe he's going into Luca's. It's amazing. And, community, I think, is everything. And I just wanted to also mention to the audiences who are listening in that we have some amazing other items. Besides Keith's Shop, we've got world famous craft cannabis marketplace featuring hundreds of high-class provisioners. We've got some amazing Emerald Cup discussions going on. We've got some really high quality live music. So it's going to be fun as well as everything else. And then we have some amazing full spectrum food and drink options. All of this is available this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, Saturday, Sunday mainly. I'll be there on Friday trying to get there early and vibing with all the friends. Hopefully, I'm sure we won't see Marty and Tim. They'll be running around like headless chickens. But thank you both so much for your valuable time. Thank you for giving us an opportunity with Highly Capitalized Network to promote this incredible, important event in our calendar, the Emerald Cup, this August 16, 17 in Oakland, which is also the home of Urbana. Thank you very much. This has been Highly Capitalized Network with Tim Blake, the founder of the Emerald Cup, and Marty Higgins, the dynamic CEO of the future, I believe, of cannabis retail, which is consumption lounges. Thank you very much.
Thank
It
you,
is the
guys.
future. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Thank you both very much.
Introducing Inside Retail with Marty Higgins. Insider news and engaging conversations with cannabis leaders, brought to you by Urbana and Highly Capitalized Network, navigating the cannabis retail landscape with innovative strategies and customer-centric solutions. Join Marty Higgins as he brings you insider stories and cannabis retail market trends. This is Inside Retail with Marty Higgins.